need to pick up the free tickets.
What time do you have?
5:30.
5:30? Okay. We'll go ahead and officially begin our hearing with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our public hearing for the 2017 budget. Betty's going to give a few comments, and if the commission wants to give a few comments first, and then we'll open it up to anyone who wants to comment on the 2017 budget. Betty?
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I was going to show you where on our website this information is. There is right here under the County Commission page of our website, under a heading here that says Budget Hearings. First it says click here for the 2017 budget hearing schedule, and then there's a link there. Then it says or here to watch the budget hearings live, or well, not live anymore, the recordings. But there is a place to it will take you to where you can actually watch any of the budget hearings. Then there says view the 2017 budget requests. If you click on that, it will take you to the actual budget requests. It is the same document that I printed out for the people here tonight. And I will go over that in just a minute. And then if you scroll down through that, then it also takes you to a couple charts. One is a pie chart that, based on the requests, the percentage from each of the categories, like public safety, public health, parks, recs, and expo center, and such as that. Then if you go on down, there's another chart that shows each of those categories. The blue is the 2015 actual expenditures. The red is the 2016 budget, and the green is the 2017 requests. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that was on the website and where to find it. Now, the handout we have tonight is the same as this on our website, and it says at the top, Shawnee County 2017 budget requests by department or agency, not final. These are the requests that my department received from the individual departments and agencies. This is just a listing of the requests. This is in no way the final budget. That is what we're here for tonight, to hear comments on. On here, I have the first column is the department or the agency. They are grouped together in the different categories. Like the first category there is administrative services, and then all the departments under that. The second column is the 2015 actual expenditures for each of those departments or agencies. The next column is the 2016 budget. That's our current year, so that's what is budgeted for each of those. And then the next column is the 2017 requests that we received. Then the last column is the percentage of the 2017 requests. For each category, I show what the percentage is of those of the requests that we received. So,
Okay.
any questions?
Any questions? And again, we make adjustments from the request. We're not going to do that tonight. But then starting on Monday at our regular county commission meeting, we will start making those adjustments, and then the budget is not final until we adopt the final budget. So this is by no means your last opportunity to give input, and we've had an opportunity since the end of July. We had the budget hearings throughout July, first part of July. But you'll have some other opportunities to make comments as well. Commissioners, anything else? No? Okay. At this time, anyone wanting to come to the podium can, and just state your name and then express your comments, ideas, whatever you want to do. No one? I'll wait just a little bit longer, just to make sure.
Good evening, Commissioners. Joseph Ledbetter. I'm a Shawnee County resident of Peak as well, and a lawyer here locally. Congratulations on two of you that won your elections, but more than that, I want to congratulate you on participating in forums that I was the MC at. Mr. Archer was there twice, Mr. Cook at one. Those forums are very important because I think there were some tough questions asked. And even though I wrote some of them, I certainly did not write all of them. And I appreciate that participation in democracy. I want to comment on just several of these items. First off, I'm against any tax hike, and I'm sure everybody in this county kind of feels that way. I know there are some urgent needs, and that's up to you to make those decisions, but that's where I'm starting with. I want to talk about a couple of these offices that I've gotten excellent service from over the last several years, and I don't know, I haven't really looked in depth at what they're asking for, but the Treasurer's office has been fantastic to work with compared to what we had before, and I never have to wait that long, no matter what day of the week it is, if I take business to them to take care of business. If I call in, I get those phone calls seem to be answered fairly quickly on real estate questions that I sometimes have. So I appreciate Mr. Ma's service and his staff very much. The Register of Deeds has been excellent, and I know that office had a lot of cuts several years ago, but I just get fantastic service there, and I do some real estate business with my law firm, and I think a lot of lawyers really appreciate the efficiency of that office, and so I just want to commend people that I believe are doing excellent jobs. On the Expo Center, I know that we voted to give them a lot of money over the next 15 years. I know that a couple of years ago I came up and suggested we give them a capital outlay item because the problems they were experiencing, they were just falling behind with maintenance. And I felt like in the long term, when I went through the facility 2 years ago with Mr. Cook and saw what I saw, I felt like long term the facility had not been taken care of. I was not blaming him. But I had to go back to the elected officials, particularly ones that have been up here long term, and say, what are you doing over here? You've got 1 million visitors a year. This facility is worth about $40 million. You've got to maintain it. And so right now we're looking at redoing a large part of it, but here's the concerns I want to put on the record. I think we very much need to look at, because we're doing the Willard Bridge with a lot of your sales tax up front, and I understand the need. I think if you're going to make any impact on that expo and keep it viable, you've got to replace those seats. You've got to replace the HVAC. It's costing way too much money, in my opinion, to run that building. You've still got the Maynard Center tied to the HVAC, I was told, with the expo, even though the hotel has that, and I'm going, how does that work? I'd like to almost look at that lease, but I don't really have time. But even if they're being reimbursed, how do you know that's accurate? I don't think that's a tenable situation. I think it should have been, those utility heating and cooling plants should have been split out a long time ago when you allowed, not you guys, I mean, two of you weren't even here, I don't even know if Ms. Bueller was here when that lease was done, but when that hotel took over that facility, there should have been a clear improvement in that HVAC and let them pay the bills. It should have been metered to them. I think the seats, a lot of people can't sit in them. I can, but I think it's hurting the shows. I think you talked about doing some additional horse facilities. I still don't understand why you can't look at bonding that, even with revenue bonds. If they're gonna pay the way they claim they will, and I'm not saying they won't, then they should be able to pay for themselves, pay for those bonds, and get it up and running. It is economic development. I understand that argument. But if you want to bring business into that facility, then come up with some ways through the architecture or through the architect to look at these ideas and brainstorm them and see if you can't get them done in a quicker fashion than waiting till the end of 10 years or 12 years or something like that. But I am very concerned about the HVAC and the sidewalks and the parking lots. I think the sidewalks are very, very poor, and especially in the heavy traffic areas. And I mean, all you have to do is walk on them. I mean, you can see how bad they are. And when you have public invitee situations, you're inviting the public in, and they're paying for tickets. They need to have level sidewalks to walk on, not full of holes and curbs that are 6 inches above the sidewalk, as they are in several places, and I've got pictures of it. So I'm going to move on from that. I'm not complaining about the facility. I am simply stating my concerns about the maintenance and about how you might look forward and actually make that facility not just enhanced, but more productive and profitable in a faster term than you might be thinking about. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next item. Parks and Rec. As you're aware, I'm sure, I, for years, said that the county needed to take care of the Parks and Rec. And I had several reasons for that. I felt like Parks and Rec is a county-wide need and a county-wide, it is something that most of the people in the county use from time to time. So I said I believe that it shouldn't just be the city citizens and businesses taking care of it. I believe it should be the county. And we've now had the county taking care of the Parks and Rec for several years. I know there's some critics. I am a fan of it. I believe that Mr. Knight is doing a good job. I believe it started a little rough at times. He returns my phone calls. He returns my emails. I'm not saying he did at first, but he does now. And that's what matters. I want to see progress. Mr. Knight is doing, I believe, a good job. Now, here's some of the needs I'm seeing as I go through the community. I'm not just seeing them in Highcrest, I'm seeing them as I drive around. Because I look at a lot of this town as I drive around. I observe things. I don't just play my radio and my music and just, I actually drive, I pay attention to what I'm doing. But I do observe things. So, I look at a lot of these parks, and I see a lot of dated equipment and some of the smaller ones. I'm not saying you can't, kids can't use them. I mean, I probably was on some of them myself. They still look like they're still there. But I think they need to be painted. I think you should have a part of the budget that allocates money to put playground equipment into some of the smaller parks, not just the Lake Shawnee and Gage Park. I know they're heavily used, but there's a lot of kids using the smaller parks too. And I'd kind of like to see you take that and kind of scatter it around, you know, some of the east side, some of the south side, and every year you see some of that equipment being upgraded throughout the city. It just kind of sends a message. It doesn't have to, you don't have to replace all the equipment in one park, but if you replace a piece of the equipment in a park, and you kind of scatter that around in all 3 districts, I think you're going to see people will appreciate that, and they'll notice it, and they're not going to balk about it. That equipment, 50, 60 years old, you know, some of it just needs to be replaced, okay? And I don't think it's a big cost item. On Parks and Rec, I think they need more funding, but again, I realize we're in constraints. But Parks and Rec is something that most citizens will use, their children will use, their grandkids will use. You'll see a lot of people using it that might not use other county-type facilities, and they might not ever go to a Parks and Rec facility, but they'll go to parks. You'll see lots of people participate in Gage Park that may never go to the pool. They may not even want to go swimming, but they will participate in the park. And the same with Shawnee Lake. And they use the walking trails. So on the walking trails, I just have a concern that I'd like to mention. Am I going too long? I don't see a timer up here. so-
No,
You don't have
we
time.
don't
I
have
know,
timers. We don't have timers.
I'm used to it, but anyway. On the walking trails, and I do use them. I like to ride my bike. Some of the older trails are a little narrower, and they're starting to show signs of cracking and things like that. And I think you just need to pay attention, kind of do that spot maintenance on the Shunga Trail. I mean, I don't remember exactly when, I think that was built in '91. I'm not sure, but he says I'm right, okay. So after heavy use of that many years, you're going to start to see sections crack, shift, and I just want to see a objective of, we're going to pay attention to that. We just get it fixed, and then you don't have to replace the whole trail. You just keep those small sections fixed as they start to wear out, and you keep the whole system in better shape because people can still use it. So those are my concerns, and I'm bringing them up just because these are things I've observed. These are things I know people talk to me about. When I'm with High Crest, they'll talk to me a lot about the parks. But I talk to other people in this town. There's a little park, country club park over by the old Quinton Heights School. It could use a little update. You might even consider putting a little fence towards the road so that if a kid's over there, they don't just think about running out in the street. Just the small things that don't cost a lot that would just make a park a little more enhanced and a little more used by the neighbors. And also, because it's on a main thoroughfare, it just appeals to the eye to people driving through town. They say, wow, this is a town that takes care of even the little parks, and it's noticeable, especially on these high traffic areas, and it just sends a good image to people driving through. That's it. Questions? Thanks.
I believe so. Thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone else wanting to come to the podium to offer comments? Okay. Commissioners, do you have anything? No? Okay, that's our official business, just to listen, so we are adjourned, correct? Wait,
Public hearing.
we didn't open the public hearing, I guess we officially, we didn't, by adjourning, okay. So we'll make a motion to officially close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0. This is closing the public hearing today, but again, we're still open to comments, emails, phone calls about the budget until we do the final approval. Thank you.